Hello, everyone. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Heidi.
Hi. We missed you guys last week. I was down in Florida visiting Robin, and we got a little busy having too much fun and didn't get
Yep.
to our normal weekly YouTube. So we wanted to get back on track this week. So, Robin, I thought I would start out with I thought maybe you could share with the listeners the new stuff that's been going on with you.
hmm
I know some people have heard little snippets of it, but you want to just kind of fill us in on what's been happening?
Yes. Well, I'm having a lot of kriyas, and anyone that knows anything about kundalini, you can look that up. It's a lot of like shaky movements, your head going in circles, sometimes noises, lots of really all different types of bodily movements. And at time to time, there is a little speaking from the one that has named himself Shiva. And actually, what I'm coming to understand is that I awakened my Kundalini in my early 40s. I've talked about this before on recordings, but it's a many-year process. Once it rises, it will go back down and kind of settle at the base of the spine again. And then throughout your lifetime and in the experiences that you're in, and depending on what's going on with you, it will gradually start to make its way up and has to get through all of these energy channels, the nadis. There's like hundreds of them in your body, and that's what causes a lot of the jerky motions, emotions that are coming out, is it making its way through those channels, trying to clear those out. And so the main goal of that energy is to finally make its ascent back up to the top and then stay there, where it will meet what it is called Shiva, and that is the energy that has announced itself to me that my Kundalini is now reaching the crown. And so that energy is becoming pretty known to me. Feels like another channeling experience. And I just want to explain a little bit that my connection to the group of Athena in truth is a little bit different than the Kundalini rising. The Kundalini rising is a consciousness that is within every single human being. It rests at the base of the perineum in the bottom of your spine. And that's coiled up, and it is just waiting there for the right lifetime for it to wake up, open up, and travel up through all the energy centers. And then, as what's happening to me now, meet the crown. And then this is where universal consciousness is, or accessibility to those types of things are. But this is a separate thing from the Athena in truth. And this consciousness, I'm just getting to understand it. It's kind of funny. It's like following some type of a map or a plan like that you're on, and you have to keep picking up the breadcrumbs. And I've done a lot of reading and research, so I'm pretty knowledgeable about Kundalini, and I've watched and listened to many other people who have awakened theirs. And the path can be similar, but sometimes a little bit different in how long it takes, or the things that people experience, depending on how many blockages maybe that they have in their chakras that could cause a little more turmoil or trouble for you to get through. And so there are a number of things that determine the length of time when this is making its ascent up you. But so what I'm starting to realize just recently is that as it's reaching now the crown, so it's going to complete itself, I always thought that this energy had a consciousness of its own. It would just be running me. It would basically do the movements. I would get this feeling from it. You need to go lay down for half an hour and let me do my thing. Let me do the work on you that I need to do. And I would just have this knowing that that was something I had to allow to happen. And so I've been doing that regularly. But now, as it's gone on, I started to think, well, sometimes I think to myself as it nudges me, oh, I'll go in and lay down and allow it to do its thing. So I am, in a sense, allowing it. So I'm a little bit in control of it. And then while I'm in there, maybe 30 minutes into it or 25, depending on what I'm wanting to spend doing it, I will just, as Robin, think, okay, that's enough. I have other things to do. And then it just stops at my command. So I started thinking, oh, this is a listening consciousness. This is not something that I thought was just running me, that I had no control over. And I really feel like the control I'm getting over it now is, as it's becoming more complete in me, I'm able to direct it. And so the next thing to try, it's kind of an exciting thing to try, is I feel that this could be a transferable energy, or one that I could use this energy to awaken it in others that want to have theirs raised, because it can be quite a process to get it to happen. And there are different gurus around the world who have done this, where they actually can touch another human. And so me, by asking my kundalini to please activate your kundalini, that would be because it's all one thing. It's the same kundalini that's in you that is in me. Mine just happens to be very active right now. So me, as the director of that, could ask it to please stimulate yours or wake your kundalini up. So this is kind of the next step or thing that I am going to be experimenting with and trying and seeing whether or not mine is fully completed and raised, and whether or not that is in fact something that I would be able to do.
So on that subject, if you were to be with somebody and touch them to try to awaken their kundalini, I would imagine, just like with most things, that it would be dependent on where that person was at, right? I mean, it's not like every person you touch would automatically be affected. That person would have to be willing and ready to accept. So each person may or may not have the same experience.
Yes. We are coming in now, so we can answer some of the questions in a little more detail. Is it okay?
Yes, yes.
Yes. You are correct, Heidi. To awaken a kundalini in one that has no preparation could be a little bit traumatic. It could be a little bit of an upheaval in their life. So you are correct in the assumption that the aspirant or aspirant, or whatever you want to call them, should be a little bit understanding. They should be knowledgeable about this energy. They should be working on it a little bit, trying to get their energy centers open, and have some kind of a foundation or an understanding of what it is that they are about to do. This energy awakening is about timing. It's about many things, really, in a human experience, whether they are ready or not. And so that would very much be a prerequisite that someone is a little bit ready. But we would tell you that no one's coming if they're not somewhat summoned or ready, you see. Robin has seen some of the people who are able to do this. She happened to stumble upon it when she was looking around on the internet trying to figure out what is it that's going on with her. And she realized that most of the people that did come looking, for most of the people that you would bring up kundalini to, unless they were on some type of a spiritual path, really don't have any knowledge or understanding of it. There's many people that Robin talks to that are quite open, honestly, to channeling and many other modalities, but they've never heard of the kundalini energy. They have no idea of what it is, that they have no idea that every human has it within them. So we would tell you that it kind of takes care of itself, because anyone that would be showing up for an activation already has an idea that this is within them, and they are working on it in the lifetime that they are in, you see.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Let's go back to the new edition, the Shiva.
Yes.
What will be different about what they or he, she, I'm not quite sure what we're labeling. I know you guys don't love labels, but
Yes.
what will be different coming from that group versus what we see coming from Athena?
Yes. Athena, the group of Athena, us, yes, it is Athena just speaking to you right now. We are primarily the trainers or teachers of those that are somewhat into their spiritual path. As this unfolding continues in Robin, and it is going to continue to unfold, there will be much higher level training or teaching. It will be much more for those that have awakened their kundalini, that are already well on the path. They are going to be like lights that are being turned on, or they are going to be somewhat released from her, so that they can continue to spread what it is she does in the areas that they are in. So it is more like we imagine a grid, as you say, and then little lights turning on everywhere. Yes. So as she has her hand in this with those that she is in exchange with, they in turn will then pick up the torch, and they will start going in their direction. And this is going to be a spreading or an infiltration of the entire human race. It is already beginning. You are going to see more and more people having their kundalini activated, because the more that energy starts to circulate among humans, and it is transferable. Robin is correct in her figuring out, or in her assumption, that once her kundalini has made its full ascent, and what is the full ascent? It is the divine feminine energy energy, which works its way all the way through every one of the nadis and chakras and cleans out the human body or system. And then it emerges at the top of the crown, and this is where the male energy resides. So now it is a unity or a oneness that is reached, you see. And this is really what your universe is about. It is about unity. It isn't about a male or female God or any type of separation. It is about the one thing, you see. And so the access that she will have at this level will be great, you see. We are not primarily exposing all of it right now because it is still in the workings. Everything isn't completely aligned. Or there's the body work that we are doing. There's a lot of past life. There is a lot of present life, emotions, things that are stored within the vessel that is her, that is being cleaned up or cleared out to prepare for this next endeavor that will be coming. See? Yes.
Robin had an interview, I think it's probably a week or maybe week and a half ago. She was on a program on YouTube called Hookalo Saturday. And what we found to be so funny is that that day was actually Shiva's birthday. And the lady that was supposed to interview Robin was actually in India to celebrate that. And that was the day that Shiva actually made a little appearance and actually did some talking. And it was very interesting to me that I wasn't with Robin when this was going on. I was listening, but I immediately could see the difference, see and feel the difference of that consciousness to the group of Athena. And so hopefully moving forward, when Shiva's ready to come out, you'll all see that too. It was pretty cool to see something different.
Primarily, when we are in session with people, the tactic or the approach, let's use that term, that is used is we align to the energy of the person that we are moving with. If they are greatly lodged or stuck in a belief or a pattern or a way of thinking that is prohibiting them from moving, oftentimes the volume gets raised, or we match that. Yes, we emanate back to them or mirror back to them this pungent energy that is actually keeping them lodged or stuck in the pattern that they are in. So what you are going to notice as the Shiva energy is more aligned to Robin and begins to vocalize more and more, there will be less of this. Because why is that? Because the people that we are moving with are going to be past those patterns. They're going to be above the stuck areas or the lodged. It's not to say that we will still not do this work with those that are in it, because Athena says she is not going anywhere. Yes, they are still planning on being part of this group. They are still going to be doing sessions, and they will adjust the energy that comes forward depending on who it is they move with. But one of the things that Robin noticed right away was this very diplomatic, smooth, comforting energy when this one is transmitting is quite different than what she is used to, where the energy is determined by the one normally that is in front of her. And as this other one comes through, it is not that way. It is the same each time. It is much more level, you see. Yes?
And because our human minds like to have time frames and information, would you have any idea of when the process will be complete and that Shiva will be regularly in communicating with us?
It'd be like telling you the day that a baby is going to be born. You know that is coming. Yes, it is coming. She can feel it. Yes. But the exact moment or the exact day when it is fully implemented is yet to be seen. We are not the complete determiners of it, or we would be happy to give you such a date that you are asking for. But really what is happening is this clearing, this cleansing, this cleaning, this own psyche that she has within herself that we need to sort out or get through. It's a process that we are working on, and it will be dependent a little bit on her. Yes. And that kind of determines or answers the question that you are asking. It is a little bit difficult to say how much energy needs to be moved, or how much little experiences that Robin needs to have that show her areas where she is lodged a little bit or stuck, so that she is completely capable of embodying this type of energy that is wanting to transmit. The difference really, what happens with a higher level energy, we hate to use the word higher. We don't mean better than or bigger than. We're not trying to push anyone out. It is not that type of energy that we are speaking of. But the higher levels of consciousness, let's just use that term, require what you would refer to as a human, a greater frequency or a higher bandwidth. you see. And so the person that is transmitting must be able to house that or handle that. Yes. And so that is what we are working on right now. We don't see it to be a problem, but this complete transformation has not completely taken place yet.
Okay. Would you say that this process that's going on with Robin, not necessarily the kundalini, because I would assume that not every channeler has had a kundalini awakening, but is it pretty common that somebody who channels one group often goes into channeling others or many other groups?
Yes, it is very common. Once this portal has been opened, many other beings or entities are able to perceive it or know it. Yes, and there are many that are wanting to teach. There are many that are wanting to be of an assistive quality to humans. And so, yes, this is a possibility. However, we would like to make the delineation between the Athena in Truth group and then this Kundalini energy consciousness. It is a separate consciousness, but the difference between the two is the Athena in Truth group is a group consciousness of entities, we call them, you could call them that have lived before. Some have lived human lives and some have not. And then this culmination of energies are communicating together in what is called merging, and they are able to download or induce thought forms or patterns into Robin that is now coming through her mouth. This is how it works. But the exciting thing for her with this Kundalini energy is to know that and one of the reasons really it is so suited to us, Athena in Truth, is because we are all about empowerment, and there's nothing more empowering than to tell humans that they have it, that this Kundalini resides in the base of the spine of every single breathing human being on this planet. You see, you all have access to it. And so this idea that, or this possibility that she would be able to stimulate that in others and that they could actually speed their opening process or their ability to perceive other levels of consciousness, because that's what comes with it, is very exciting to her. She would love for other people to be able to open up in this way simply by tapping into the energy that is awakened in her will awaken it in them as well, you see.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
exciting. I'm really happy I'm
Yes.
coming back to Florida so I can try this out.
Yes, yes.
Um,
And then Heidi, just to mention, yes, this is quite possibly a path or another avenue that you and Robin will be taking, you see. There are many people that once this Kundalini has awakened, remember, it is a 25-year process that Robin is in. And now that is not to say that it would be 25 for you or for anyone else, but it is to say that it is not something that always happens overnight. It can, but it is not something that is always happening very speedily or fast. And there are many things that a human goes through. There are many questions that one will have as this Kundalini is popped or picked at, yes, and it begins to become active. It will not necessarily take off all at once. Certain centers may start to activate individually. It's quite a process. So what is needed then is support. Humans need to be able to speak to someone who has actually had the experience, can say, yes, this is normal. This is where you are on the path. Yes, I remember that, you see. And these are all things that by getting this comfort, by getting this direction and this understanding, this is what will actually help the human to relax and allow this energy to much more quickly expand within them.
And I would assume also that because there are people who have spontaneous kundalinis, whether it be accidental,
Yes.
some people that have that experience maybe haven't even started any kind of a spiritual journey. So for them, I could see this starting a process of many years of kind of going through the layers. But I also think on the flip side of that, there are people that maybe have been many years working on different things within themselves, and then they have this experience, and then maybe things can move quicker then because they've cleaned some
Absolutely.
things out ahead.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is to remember that the initial awakening is very impacting or makes an impression, let's say that. Very loud, very much sensation, very much seeing, very much hearing. All of your senses are notified when this energy is rising within you. And so humans will become very excited and they will think, I awakened my kundalini. I felt it pierce the centers. I went all the way up. I heard the hummingbird sound. I heard the buzzing. I had the full orgasmic experience as it reached the top. But aside from all of this, even though that pierces the centers and the kundalini rises, she will very quickly go back down to the bottom of the spine again, where she may sit for many years to come. And then gradually, unless you are actually mentally encouraging her or with your mind working on getting her to move again, she may rest there for a couple of lifetimes or a couple of days. It is elusive or something that cannot be determined or forced, but it will eventually reactivate. And then this next rising or the next time that you start to experience it, it will have some familiarities. You will definitely feel some of the same sensations you did initially, but it will be a much slower process as it works its way through all of those tiny little nadis and energy centers, and it will be refining your entire system. And this is a process that can take quite some time, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right, so let's kind of shift gears and let's talk about negative thoughts and people that ask over and over and over for the same thing.
Yes.
Let's kind of get into that a little bit.
Yes. We did a podcast the other day, and we feel it is important that humans understand that when you ask for something, you have desired it. And when you have desired something, all that is has given or provided you with that exact experience that will provide the feeling that you are really calling for in the reason that you want the experience. But the problem with the human is they start to wonder, where is it? How long is it going to take? If they're going to get it, they start to maybe be a little down because they haven't gotten it or whatever it is. And then the negative thinking starts. Then they start having all kinds of thoughts or feelings that are entering their body. It might be, I'm too old, I'm not smart enough, I'm not educated, I have a bunch of small children at home, I don't have the time. We could go on and on, but really what we really want a human to understand is that this mechanism, this human tool, and this mind that you have, it is always working in support of you. It is never against you. And so when a human wants to nullify negative emotions or get rid of them or to try to not have them, you're really denying self, because the high part of you is doing nothing more than answering the question you're asking. First, you asked for the thing that you were desiring, and we told you it's already here. Alignment is what is needed to bring it to you in form upon the earth that you are on. But how do you get into alignment? Well, certainly not by thinking you're not going to get it, or that you're too old, or that you're not smart enough. And so as your vibratory level dips down, now your high self starts to give you the actual answer to the question again that you are asking. Where is it? Well, here's where it is. You don't believe that you are smart enough. You don't believe that you are young enough. You don't believe that you have enough money. You think having your children inhibits you so that you're not able to do it. And you think that you're producing these negative thoughts all on your own. But really, this is nothing more than a revelation of what is within you and what you have asked for. And it is now directing you or telling you, here it is. So what do you do, really? Do you deny it? Do you try to brainwash yourself out of it and stop that negative thought? We would ask you, how's that going? Not very good. When humans try to deny a negative emotion, what happens oftentimes is it becomes even louder. More and more of them start to come because the high part of you wants you to know that in denial of the self, and that's what you are doing, you are not correcting or helping yourself at all, you see. And so what the best thing that you can do when you have these negative emotions that are coming to you is to love yourself and say to yourself, I have had some experiences that have made me feel as though I'm not smart enough, I'm not young enough, I've viewed something or witnessed something that I've chosen to believe in that is in me, that is preventing me from having what it is I am having. And then love yourself for the experience. And then you're going to notice right away the release of that negative emotion. It's right away when it knows that you have gotten the message, when it knows that you have taken a look at it and that you have now shed light on something that was not in your awareness. Most of you humans are creating unconsciously. And what do we mean by unconsciously? We mean that you are emoting, and from your emoting and life experiences and even past lives and even lineages that are in you, you are just reacting to things based upon an emotive feeling you are having, and that's unconscious creating. You become a conscious creator, a master, when you feel the negative emotion and then you look at it and then you think to yourself, I love myself. I've had some experiences that have caused me to feel this way. I think I'm not going to choose that. Thank you, yes, for having that experience, but I think I'm going to choose this. I think I'm going to choose I'm young enough. I think I'm going to choose I'm able to do this with 3 children. I think I'm going to choose that I'm smart enough, that I'm enough. I'm going to choose it, you see. This is all that a master does.
Yeah.
It doesn't deny his experiences. It doesn't not feel them. It doesn't all of a sudden become this positivity machine that never thinks a negative thought. It becomes the analyzer of them, the listener of them, the understander of them. It starts to know what they mean, you see. It can be quite useful. Would you agree?
I would. And I think because I've struggled with it myself, and I think probably numerous listeners and also friends of mine, when you have an experience of that in your life that you don't like or you don't want, it becomes unconscious almost how much of our energy and time gets devoted to that subject. And we don't want it, but yet we're giving it all of our energy.
Here's the problem. You are so caught up in the senses that you believe them. And so when you have the sensation or the feeling, you decide that it's true, and then you become downtrodden and connected to it, and you become it, and you feel all kinds of negative emotion because the high self is pulling away from you as you do this, quite honestly, yes. But what we really want you to understand is that you don't have to connect to that as a truth. Just because you are having a negative emotion doesn't mean it's true. It means that you are believing in it, but it also means that you have free will to just choose something else. And that's what we would advise you to do. Just decide that, what do I really want in that experience? We've talked to you about this before. There's always something in the negative experience that you want that's opposite of it. So you just simply have to choose that feeling. What do I want to feel? What is it that why am I asking for this mate or this place to live or this job? There's a certain sensation, there it is, that you want to feel because you are an emotive, feeling human tool. You're asking because you want to feel a certain way, you see. And if you could just identify that instead of becoming the negative emotion and identifying with that, you can change it. You can just decide, what do you really want, and now emanate that and have that return to you. This is what causes alignment. This is how things start to flow into your life, that you will wonder, how did I get them? I've been in a terrible relationship for years, and all of a sudden somebody shows up that really resonates with me. How did it happen? Well, we would say somehow you got into a state of alignment. You simply tuned into what was already there. It's in there. But then as you tune into it and it's in there and you like it and it feels pretty good and you're enjoying the moment and you're going along, all of a sudden you start thinking about the consequences. You start thinking about, how is it going to work? You start thinking about all of the problems that it could cause you. And then your high self starts giving you all the reasons that you're having those worries, and then you start to believe them as a truth, and pretty soon that thing that came to you just evaporates because you've moved away from it again. You see. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. And I also just wanted to point out that, when we're sucking so much of our energy into a negative thing, like let's just use, I don't know, a lot of people say maybe it's weight for a lot of people, and they're frustrated that they are not the weight they want, and they spend so much energy on beating themselves up because that's not the
Let's
reality.
talk about weight for a minute because it's a really good one. Hold your thought, please. Yes?
Okay. Yes.
Think about when you're trying to lose weight, you go to slide those pants on and they're binding, they're pulling up, you can't get them fastened. Then you go to the mirror and you see the bulge, you don't like the way that it looks, yes? All of these things are the sensory, the sense that you have as a human, and it is one of the biggest issues that humans have with their weight, you see, is this being able to deny what is, or what they are seeing or feeling or sensing with their senses. So this is why we have actually advised humans, and they've had great success with it, and we don't care if it costs them a little bit of money, to go out, if they lose even a couple of pounds, to go out and buy something that doesn't feel tight on them, or that makes them feel as though they have slipped into it and felt really good being in it, you see. Because anytime you are binding yourself, or you are putting yourself in a position to not feel good, it's going to be very difficult for you to achieve the goals you want to achieve, because everything that is being emanated back to you is being emanated based on the feeling that you are giving or off, or you are emitting from yourself. So it's pretty hard when you're in this state of being overweight, where things are tight, where you're not liking what you see when you look in the mirror, for you to emanate anything different. So you have to get very creative about how you're going to do it. We have recommended taking a nice bath, buying a new perfume, getting some nice new underclothes, or something that can make you feel good about self and move you gently into the direction where you can perceive something a little bit in positivity, rather than looking at what is, believing what is, and then just manufacturing more of what is, you see.
And the other thing that, well, what I was going to say just a few minutes ago was, sometimes that's great advice, and I think that every time that would work. But for some people who are really, really, really just so down and can't pull themselves up on that subject, or don't have a lot of belief that they could move on that subject, I think just getting yourself in an aligned state in any other area of your life, and taking your attraction off of that, can bring you into alignment, or can bring you things pretty quickly. And I've had a few experiences with that, where I just focused, and it's really easy for me to do that in Florida, because I love it when I'm there, especially in the winter. And so when you just put yourself in some place where you're just really grateful and happy and excited, you can really bring things to yourself relatively quickly, without trying to force ideas about, oh, if it's a tough subject for you, and you're having trouble convincing yourself that.
Yes, it is a recommendation that we have given in the past, that if you have a bucket that you can overfill with feeling good, then by all means overfill it, and it will spill out into the other areas of your life. Because if you are feeling really good in one area, and you keep your focus off the area that you're not feeling so good in, this energy will spill out or leak out into the other areas of your life. So absolutely, if you are loving motherhood, or you are loving being a wife, or you love your work, or whatever it is, and then maybe perhaps you have this weight problem, or this other problem that as you focus on it, you're not having good results with, we would say take your focus, yes, put it somewhere where you have some positivity or something going on in your life that you can feel good about, and try to hold it there as much as you can. It is never good to deny self. Sometimes people are so caught up in this weight thing. We would tell you it is a big issue among humans, because your world is very visual and very sensory orientated. So everybody is looking, sensing, judging, picking, choosing based upon what it is they are viewing, you see. So it makes it very difficult for a human to feel good about themselves if they are not in the proper, what they deem as the proper shape or form that one should be in, you see. So the best thing that you can do is to try to make yourself feel as good as you can, but you also have to be in truth. You have to allow, when the negative emotions come to you, when something is said to you, basically we want you to recognize that what you hear from yourself to yourself is truth. You feel as though you don't look good. You feel as though you are out of shape. You feel as though when you compare yourself to others, you're not enough. And so we want you then to go to yourself and say, thank you for that information. My life experience has caused this within me. My ancestry has caused this within me. And I love myself for the experiences I'm having. And I'm looking forward to the day that I can get myself to the place or point that I want to be, that I'm going to feel good about, that I'm going to overcome. That is one of the reasons I am going through this struggle that I am going through, that I am going to actually rise above it, and that I'm going to become the master and the picker and the chooser and the decider of the form I will be, of the size I will be, of the life I will live, that I will finally once and forevermore allow myself to know that I am the one that decides what form I will take, and the kind of person I will be as I spend my time here.
Yes. Yeah. So another thing that I wanted to bring up, because I have some people in my life that I know, is a concept of, like, if we're talking about weight, a concept where someone might say, well, I've tried everything and I've had all these tests and there's just something within my body that won't let this happen. And it takes your power away having that belief. Or I have another person who believes that money is evil, that money never does any good for anybody. Anybody that has money can basically turn their life into chaos and do they maybe know someone where that's been the case? Yes, but can you explain what is the danger in people having those determinations where they're believing that that power is in the money or is in the fact that there's something wrong with their body and it'll never be able to be like someone else's?
Every single thing that you have going on in your experience is through your perception and your belief of it. That's all it is. That's the only difference between any human, is their lineage, what they have viewed, what they have believed. That's in your DNA. That's part of you. And now you are in the life you're living, and you're picking and choosing and perceiving and deciding how it is that you think, how it is that you feel, and this is how you justify. We like to use that word, the situations that you find yourself in. You see, there's simply nothing that you can't have, do, be, see, become, all based upon how you're perceiving, all based upon how you're believing. A lot of humans really don't want to take responsibility for the life that they're living. They would like to blame someone else. They would like to say that somehow this has been placed upon them and that they had no part in it. But we would tell you, just as you have your negative thoughts, if you were really paying attention to them, you would realize that they are coming from you. They're not coming from outside of you. They're not deposited in you by some black negative force that is out to get you. They're simply a revelation of what you hold within you from the lineage that you have been a part of and the life that you have lived. They're showing you how you perceive and what you believe. And now you look in the mirror of those that you are in interaction with and the life that you are living, and that's what you're getting. Plain simple. Can't be much simpler than that. Once you really get this concept and you stop trying to pin it on the masses and you stop trying to say bad people are wealthy or lucky people are thin, it's just not true. That's the belief in victimization, and victimization doesn't exist except for the believer, the one that perceives that way, the one that decides that they are less, they have less, they're fatter than because they are a victim, or it is in their ancestry.
Yeah.
But at some point, someone believed it, someone perceived it. And then humans come along with no self-awareness or understanding of this, and they just simply follow like a goat in the same old pattern of what it is they have viewed in the lineage or lives that they have lived. But we're telling you right here, right now, you can decide to not do that. You can decide to pick and choose, what do you want to perceive about yourself? What do you want to believe? And that can be the outcome that starts to filter into your life.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Well, I think that's all that I have for today. Is there anything else that you'd like to add, Athena?
We just really want to drive this point home, Heidi. We have tried in so many different ways in our recordings, and we really want to get the message here through today that you are the picker, the chooser, the decider, the one who looks at things and perceives. Start to question what it is that you are thinking, what it is that you are feeling, what it is that you are detesting in yourself, because what it is that you detest, you will only attract more of in your ignorance of it. You are the creator by the way that you feel. Stop blaming yourself for how you feel and simply acknowledge, I had some life experiences that have caused me to perceive this way, that have caused me to believe this way, and therefore get all these life experiences that come before me and make me feel that it can be no other way. But now I know that I have gone along with something that I don't need to go along with, that I can actually decide. I can actually choose when I feel something in myself. Perhaps I'm a people pleaser. Perhaps I am greedy. Perhaps I am angry. We don't know any number of things that you might be experiencing. Stop hating yourself for it and start loving yourself for the experience and allowing yourself to know that a preference is being born from that. And then choose the preference. I know what it's like to be a people pleaser. Guess what? Now I want to be a free being. I don't want to do it anymore. That's what's become of me and all that is. All I need to do is choose it now. All I need to do is align to it. I'm not the one doing the work. The high part of me is. In its agreement that when I love myself, I raise my vibratory level and I align with myself and all that is, and I become all the good stuff that I am wanting to have.
Yeah. Very good. Well, thanks everybody for listening. You can always reach out to me, Heidi, at athenaintruth.com if you have any questions or comments, or if you'd like to be on the YouTube. Thanks for joining us again. Thanks, Robin.
Thanks, Heidi.